Hello. Hola.
Right, here.
Don't look into my eyes when you do that. It's weird.
Welcome to Flipping Off, a purpose-driven podcast about flipping houses and making a difference. Hey everybody, Melina Boswell here, co-founder of New Wealth Advisors Club. And today I feel a little giddy for lots of different reasons. But I have in the house some new guests that have never recorded a podcast with us before. But I have my cohort here and my co-host and my partner and friend, Mr. Oscar Solares.
Hey there.
And so first time in the studio today, we have Mr. Eric Cardenas.
Hello, hello.
All right. And his way better half, Becky Cardenas.
Good morning.
Yes. And then on the other side of the table, we have Mr. Manuel Salazar, also known as Manny, also known as Larry.
Hello there.
And his much, much better half and gorgeous wife, Tina.
Hello.
All right. So today, we thought it would be good to have a conversation for our listeners to be introduced to these two lovely couples. And so I want to start with just getting a little bit of, basic background information. So we'll start, let's see, age before beauty.
Why do you all look at me?
I didn't.
I was waiting to see
Manny.
who was going to say it. I guess that means us. But so anyway, I don't know. Nobody knows. I think you guys might all be like very close in age. So I'll start with Eric and Becky. Why don't you guys just tell us a little bit about you? Like, how long have you been married? That's like, how long you been married? Oh, look, you should see Becky's face right now.
I think she's asking you to answer that,
She's
Eric.
like, ooh, I wonder if he knows.
21?
21.
Going on 22 years?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're
Well done, Eric.
Congratulations.
Well done.
Very good.
in it for the long haul.
And and you guys got married young, because I bet when people meet you and they realize like you've been married for that long, they're probably pretty surprised. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
definitely. Well, it's even funnier when you go to Bevmo and they go, how old is that person there? And it's our son. And, oh, he's 19. And they're like, oh, he needs to step outside unless his parents are with him. And we're like, we're right here. And I'm like, you have a 19-year-old son? Yeah, and we have a 20-year-old son too. So,
Isn't that funny? It's so funny. So I bet everybody backs in and does the math. Right. Oh, did you get married because you were knocked up? Right. That's what everybody wants to know.
Every time.
I'll just say it.
well, I think the ring was there before. I think. Might have been the same time. I don't know.
Barely.
Way to seal the deal.
It's so great. It's just so great. So, I really appreciate. I think that your story is amazing, and it's actually very similar to Manny and Tina when we get over there. So let's talk about that. How long for you guys? How long have you been married?
This August, it will be 20 years this August.
Oh, look at he
Wow.
showed you up. He was way more confident and precise, I feel like. Anyway, so 20 years, and you guys, so back to Cardenas's, you guys have two children, two boys.
Yes.
And they are how old?
19 and almost 21.
Right.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yep.
98.
Yeah. Okay. And Manny and Tina?
We got 3 kids.
Yes, 18, 15, and 13.
It's so hard to believe that you guys have. Well, it's hard to believe that Tina has an 18-year-old. Let us just say she looks like she's like 22. So does it the same with you? People just like trip out that you've been married for as long as you are, and that you have kids that old.
Oh yes, they always question how old am I?
I remember they shared a story once where Tina was taking one of the kids to high school registration, and they thought she was one of the students.
Oh, yeah. We were paying for my son's class ring. The 18-year-old, he graduates this year, so we were paying for, and the guy thought I was paying for Tina.
Yeah,
And he wouldn't let her sign the paperwork. He was asking for her dad.
yeah. I didn't get it for a minute. I was all, what?
What are you talking about?
I'm his mom.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
It was pretty funny.
That's so great. So, and I think it's really cool to kind of talk about, how, I'd love to hear a little bit more about your backgrounds, and we'll go through that, I think, as we talk today. But when I'm sitting here with you, I realize you guys have so much in common.
Yeah.
And is this the thing, like, that's kind of, it's interesting because you guys met at the club, right?
Yep.
And how long ago, and you're both, married couples working this business together, which, if you've listened to me at all, I'm a big fan of. I think that married couples are the most powerful team that there is in business, and specifically inside of real estate investing. And for me, that relationship in our culture is one that I want to really harness and help people to grow that. The marriage relationship, in my opinion, is the most important one in the family. And I think it actually contributes to the world, truly. If the family is intact and the family is strong, then it just helps you to be, better producers. It just makes you to be more effective in things that you do and really good, citizens, if you will, that contribute to society and a culture that we live in. And so I'm such a big fan of married couples working together. And I also know that it's not easy. Right? It's difficult. So, Dave and I worked together always. And I remember there was probably, maybe 1 year, one solid year where we weren't working together. And it was when we sold our first business and we're in the process of opening up the second business. And that 1 year, I kind of took off. And Dave started the tax practice on his own that first year. And it was miserable. We hated not working together. And it was, obviously we didn't work together in the very beginning, but once we worked together and then tried to not work together, it was impossible for us. So have you had that same, have you gotten to be that same way where now you've really enjoyed working together, and are you surprised by it? Or is it just miserable and you want to stab each other and that's why you have partners with each other? Which one is it?
Yes and yes.
I think that's all that we've known.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
true.
Because, we worked at the plumbing company shortly after we got married together. We just weren't out in the field together, but we still had a lot of communication. So I think it's just habit.
That's interesting.
It's definitely easier and harder at the same time because you think you can read each other's minds sometimes, and you're like, I thought I told you to do that. And you're like, no. Well, we need to do that. You know what I mean? So, but it's also great to be able to, hey, I need you to do this because so-and-so needs this paperwork right now,
right,
or yesterday, So it's really good to be able to explain what you need, and they understand just from being there in the club too, what we need,
Right.
how the angles are going at. So it makes it easier that way too. So.
And that's an interesting point because when you guys first joined the club, actually, Eric, you came first.
Right.
And then you were in the club for how long before Becky came to her first RPP?
About almost a year exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It was almost a year. Yeah, and I remember. And so let's just lay it out there. Were you were you reluctant, hesitant, skeptical?
I think I was more skeptical just because I didn't want it to be too overwhelming for her because she was a stay-at-home mom for so long, and she was really used to what she was doing and where she was at. Versus coming into, once we got into that real estate, hey, we want to do this, she got really on it, but also it was like, hey, we're still transitioning from young teenage boys, to, okay, now I need you to come to the club all the time, and this is what the club is, and it's, now that she's here, I can't imagine it any other way, but yeah, I was kind of reluctant that way, and I wanted to still be the breadwinner and be the know-it-all, so... but also, I knew what we had to do, financially, to get her there, and commitment-wise for time. So once that was there, then it was like, okay, we're going, and we're going to go from the intro all the way through.
Right.
And I was there with her through the intro and
to experience the whole thing.
That experience together. So it was totally different night and day.
It was for you experiencing
yeah.
it with her, or was it because it was the second time, or both?
Yeah, both.
Yeah.
Both, because I was so excited for her to see what I was starting to see at that time of what the club really was versus just the investment part of it or just the training. It was more about people and Dave and Melina. So, so yeah, that's when it was it was really exciting all over for me again to bring her there.
And what about for you, Becky? Were you, when he was did you think, oh, it's a cult?
No.
Oh,
I mean, we went to Fortune Builders. We did that whole thing. So that's why I was a little hesitant.
oh, I didn't
And-
know that.
Oh,
Why
yeah.
did I not know
Yeah.
that? Or maybe I did. I just forgot. Maybe.
Yeah, he signed up for the club without even asking, talking to me about it.
Dope. Little best friend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
But
we're doing this. Okay. I did this.
no, it was just the first year for him, I think, was hard because he's trying to go to the classes, go to MMMs, and then come home and teach me how to door knock. And I had the realtor mindset, not helping the homeowner.
Oh,
So that made it, I think, a little difficult. But then, yeah, once I did my 3 days, it's like, this makes total sense.
That's awesome.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah, we just got our license right before joining the club. So we just knew that versus.
Right.
And I knew a little bit from my cousin, write 50 offers a day and hopefully one sticks
That's my favorite business model.
in Bakersfield.
Yeah.
Slightly different market.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and we were ready to move to Bakersfield to do that.
Wow.
And then
Wow.
for some way, how I was invited to the club from a friend. So
Wow. That's really awesome.
we ended up
So funny.
staying. So
Yeah. So you two, because you guys came together
Yeah.
from the beginning.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And you also had an in because you were friends with Frank. Or, well, you weren't, I wouldn't say friends. Would you say friends?
Yeah, acquaintances. Work.
is anybody ever friends with Frank? I mean, like really?
He's not here, so let's best friend.
Right.
He worked
sure.
with Frank.
Yeah.
He
I-
worked
yeah,
with
I
Frank.
used to work
Okay,
with
got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we used to work with Frank. Well, I used to work with Frank, and then when we our company closed down, once our company closed down, Frank. That's when Frank got into real estate, and Frank had told me, "Let's go do real estate. Let's go learn real estate." I found this place, and I'm gonna do real estate, and I just said, "No, I'm fine." I said, "I'm fine. I'm gonna get another job, and I'm good." Even though I kind of thought about it, but I just didn't go with it. It just wasn't that my path at that time. Then a few years down the line, we ran into some issues with our home. And I reached out to Frank because I remembered, I wonder if he's still doing the real estate thing. And he was doing really great. And I was just, oh, damn, I should have went. So he was like, yeah, you should check it out. So we were dealing with our issue with our home, and he was helping us out and trying to figure out what the best option and stuff like that was to do. But he had said, you should come and check out the club. So we went to the club. We checked out the intro, and like most people, when they go, we just fell in love with just the culture of the club, and we both went that time, and we were just like, wow, we were just blown away. At that time, when we drove, even like when we got in the car, Tina just said, "Wow!" Like,
Yeah.
she was just like, "Wow!" Like, so we knew that that's where we needed to be. And we had a couple other struggles right after that. With our house, we ended up having to sell our house because I ran into a bad business deal with a good buddy of mine that it fell apart, and I was the dumb one with it's my best friend. Don't sign any paperwork. We're good. We're friends. Let's nothing's gonna happen. And
Best friends for 20 years.
yeah.
Best-
So 20 years, and you know what I mean. And it happened, and I learned a big lesson of paperwork. Always have paperwork with anything. And
that wasn't real estate, though.
no, that was actually that was not real estate. That was it was a concrete pumping company that we'd started, and so that didn't work out, and I learned a big hard lesson with that. But you know what? I at the time, we were pretty sad. But I'm learning as I go. Is that that journey, that thing is actually that brought us here. So if that didn't happen, I wouldn't have found the club. So and I would be, slaving away out there every day. And that's not what I that's not what I envisioned my life being. I'm glad that, I'm glad now, that did happen. Not really glad, but, I understand it.
You're not quite grateful for that.
Yeah.
Yet, but you can see that there was obviously growth in that pain.
Yeah.
And that I'm sure,
Yeah, so once we got over that hump and we entered the club together, I would say it wasn't a smooth transition for us. Like, we've always been just us two together, and we've overcome a lot of obstacles just us two, with ourselves. And I think sometimes that hurts because we just keep to ourselves and we do it ourselves, and we just get through it. So when we started working, for me, I'm always the one that I need to solve the problem. Like, I need to know the answer. I need to fix it. So, and then I usually don't tell her like how I'm gonna fix it because I want to be like, here, I fixed it. So she doesn't know what's going on in my head. So I'm just doing it.
There he goes again.
And so when we first started with the club, we started working together, and then I kind of, with door knocking, I kind of shied away with door knocking with her. And to be honest, she actually got upset. I never told anybody this, but she actually expressed after that she was ready to like walk away because I was running the business. We were kind of doing it together, but I wouldn't go out with her. I would go out with the other students and go out with other members, go door knock. And
Did it make sense?
I finally, I had to I was actually afraid to go door knocking with her because I didn't want to fail in front of her. So it was just my mind is, I'm supposed to be the man and I'm supposed to have all the answers. So I didn't want to fail in front of her at the door. So my deal was go door knock with everybody. I'm going to learn, and then I'll take her, and then I'll have all the answers at the door. So,
what are you talking about? We're doing this together. It's something new that we're going to learn together. So at that point, I was all like, okay, well, he wants to do it himself. So we kind of talked about it after a while, and then when he told me what he was thinking, I was just like, no, how does it make sense? We're both learning it. It's something that it's brand new for both of us. So this is a time to experience it together. And we're going to fail, but we get right back up like always,
Were you surprised, Tina, when he shared that with you?
Yes.
Yeah. That's so insightful. And Manny, were you like keenly aware when you were it was in your present mind, or it wasn't subconscious, it was totally like in your present mind, like, hey, I don't want to fail in front of her, so I'm going to go do this? Or were you just kind of like, reacting to?
No, it was, I didn't want to
You were
fail.
very aware.
I was aware that I just didn't want to look, I wanted to have the answers and be like, I'm solving it. So, okay, now I know how to do it. Let's go. And I'll,
So insightful.
Yep. So once you told me that, then we started to door knock, together, and we still door knock together every week we go still.
So great. It's so great. So then explain to us how the four of you, how did that happen between you guys? Is it they start laughing?
I don't know. It's just it's weird because we were in the club. I didn't even know Eric was here.
I didn't even know who they were until Serve Team. I was like, who's Manny and Tina?
And I was the same. I was just like, after the MML, I'm like, damn, that dude just talking. Who is that guy? I'm like, who is that? I'm like, is he a new guy? Or what is that guy? And then after, I'm like, man, he's been in the club for a year.
Yeah.
And then they popped up on the serving team. And then that first day, I think Tina and Becky just hit it off.
Yeah,
we just
totally.
were talking all day. And Eric's like, yeah, I think they're best friends now. We're just and I think...
Were you jealous or what?
Yeah, I think so.
No,
best friends. We should go for a beer.
Yeah, so it's weird, and then we just kind of just started talking. Just with the surf team, we're together a lot, so it's just we just clicked. I guess just personality.
Being in construction too, that field, and then I came from construction concrete, so I knew a little bit about that. And then it's our wives are talking. How long have you been married? 20 years. Oh, me too.
Yeah.
So how many kids you got? Oh, how old are they? Dang, you started young too, so it just kept snowballing.
All the similarities are just everything, just our daily lives. It's weird how everything is it's the same. It's weird. Our both jobs.
Get up early, get up at 5, get on that stupid freeway. Do a bunch of calls, and then try to make calls in between that, and then hey, what are you doing for lunch? Where you at? That kind of thing too.
Yeah.
So
So that's really interesting because, you guys talked about being on the serving team and then, having that connection and how we are all together a lot. And isn't it interesting now that you guys have built this crazy friendship?
Oh, yeah.
And now you're doing business together as well.
Right.
You guys have kind of formed, I'm just curious, do you have anything in writing?
Actually,
No, we don't, huh? No, we,
you just jinxed it.
oh man.
I didn't jinx
Well,
it.
we're getting ready because we're trying to figure out.
Oh,
some
okay.
paperwork.
The details.
But it's
Yeah.
coming.
Okay,
It's
it is
coming.
coming.
Yeah,
Okay, as
yeah,
long as
yeah.
you're talking about it, that's the most important.
Yeah, we're like,
Working
okay,
towards.
LLC, DBA,
Okay,
where are we
good.
at? How much further do we
Good.
need to go? So,
Okay, good,
So,
good,
and then
good.
and then there's like, do we want to stick with this name?
No.
Okay, so let's.
The
let's,
ladies say no.
No.
the ladies say no. So why don't you tell us what is your current company name?
Team Liger.
Team Liger, yeah.
Team Liger.
So which one of you is the lion and which one is the tiger?
I'm the lion.
That was really fast, Manny.
Right?
Well, the tiger has stripes, so I think I wear the stripes better. So, but then we're thinking like Tiger Worldwide, Liger Worldwide, so
Yeah, that just
International.
It's like, and that's why I think we get along. So it's like our personalities are the same. We
Yeah.
just have
Yeah.
the same kind of mind. The weird. I don't know.
same
We just go
like
off.
humor. Our humor is the
your
same.
your humor is very
Like,
much
one
the
up
same
each other
all
on,
the time.
on
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our wives just shake
Me and
their head
Becky are like,
like they're doing
"What's
now.
the team
They just-
They're like, what just happened? Yeah.
And like just within minutes, like we had the little logo, we had like everything, just like, and
Did
they're like,
you-
what is all
T-shirts
this?
already. Like
We're
he already made
that's it.
T-shirts. We're just like, okay, here, put this on.
Oh my God. And I bet do you guys communicate in memes constantly?
We've got better.
Have you gotten
we
better?
were doing that
Yeah.
all the time, but we're kind of, there's some words in there now so they can understand
That's good. That's
what
some
we
words.
mean.
They do
what we mean.
communicate. Yeah. All right. So now talk to me a little bit about, I know that by being in business together. So first of all, we have, married couples and your families, right? And then now it's the two couples coming together and the power in that. And I feel like it's accountability. The accountability is a little off the charts in my mind. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say that is like the best?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we both have, we got 4 of us now. It's not just one person, another one. So it's always like when me and Eric are doing our daily job or whatever, we have the ladies at home and they're watching like, hey, Eric, can you make a call? Or Manny, can you make a call? Like who's
Right.
on today?
who's busy here at this time? Who's not
great.
busy? So and then like Tina and Becky will spread up the week like Monday through like Thursday or Wednesday. It's like Tina's days and then Becky. So that way it kind of eases the load off of everybody.
It's great.
And then we just kind of have that kind of working together process and just kind of communicate through a group me that we have for us. And specifically, there's always something
Going on.
We all share a calendar together, so
Nice.
they input the
Oh, look at
calendar
that.
and stuff
Oh,
like
kinds
that.
of-
So
It only took a few months. Hey, we should do a calendar. What?
But we got it.
Yeah, we could.
good.
Yeah, we yell at each other through the group me, all that good
Yeah.
stuff. So
That's great. So, let me say this, that both Eric and Manny are on the advisory council at the club, which is the leadership team, which is a volunteer position, but it is really the second tier of leadership inside of the club. And so I know that also takes time and energy from you guys. And you guys have spent quite a bit of time really crafting and cultivating the accountability program and what that looks like and really honing in and working with Oscar in making that just stronger and better. And so, Oscar, why don't you share a little bit about like how you see maybe the benefits that these guys and not just the guys, but these folks, that Team Liger has, how what you see has come from the fruit, and how it's really fed into the club and maybe the accountability partner program and what that looks like.
Sure. So the first thing is just to acknowledge the fact that they were able to step into that role.
Yeah.
Because we don't take the accountability partner program lightly. There's a lot of responsibilities. There's more time. There's a lot of things, and it's all voluntary, right? It's not like anybody's on a payroll or anything.
Right.
So kudos to them for being able to step in and filling those roles. That said, and I think they'll agree on this, is that when you're put in a position like that where you have to show up for others, inevitably you have to show up. And that means that you have to be there, you have to be present, you have to act correctly and do all these things. So from that, I believe that the growth that we've seen in them has definitely come from that aspect of having to show up for other people versus showing up for each other. Right? It's just, it kind of one-ups things for them. So much so that they've actually transitioned now, and they're filling more of the coach role. And stepping into that role now is totally different, right? I know Manny, both of them have sat with me when I sit with new members to do the initial 2-hour meeting with them and get to know them and all that. So they've experienced that now. And I think that opens them up as well to understand better how to approach people and how to, so the personal growth that they've gone through is directly related to the programs that are in place at the club.
Right.
And it just continues to feed. So now they feed, right? Because I know Eric just pulled me aside. Hey, look, I'd like to do this for the club meeting. What do you think about that?
Great.
Right?
Love
That's
it.
all great stuff, right? Because we want people to step into those roles.
Yes, we do.
You know, what I don't want to do is us being the ones that always do everything. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah.
So at least now we're starting to see people grow into those roles and into those responsibilities. So for me, it's great. I love these guys. They're awesome. You know, all 4 of them are awesome people. They're great to get along with. Their sense of humor just cracks me up left and right.
Me too.
And it's not just the guys, by the way. The
I
ladies
know.
have their own
I
flair
know.
on their sense of humor too, and they have to, right, to keep up with those two. So.
Yes.
But yeah, overall the program itself has really flourished because of them stepping in as well, right? Because we always point when new accountability partners show up, it's like, hey, look at what Eric and Manny are doing. Look what Tina and Becky are doing. That's what you need to step into, and people start to emulate them now. Right?
Yes.
So it makes everything flow a lot, and we're all about consistency with people, right? It's making sure that everybody gets the same message and all that. So they're key to that. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. And that really is why I wanted you guys to come on the podcast, is because I thought it was important for people to hear your stories a little bit and get to know you a little bit more personally. Because in my mind, what I see is huge growth in you, and I see that you're going to just continue to grow in your leadership in the club. And that's exciting to me, because I think what Oscar said is really key, that if we can't grow people to become leadership, then what is the point? We're not trying to run an organization, right, where it's just, 8 people at the top, and we're the ones doing all the work and also getting all the fruit, frankly. The idea is, of the club is that people can create as much leverage as they choose to. And the thing I think that is so unique about the club is that leverage is created through personal relationships and service to one another. It's very different than what, like, for example, corporate America looks like. Leverage is created by having people work for you, keeping them at a certain level financially, so that they have to come to work every day, right? The idea of a job just over broke. And what we've created is there's no ceiling. There's not even a glass ceiling. There's truly no ceiling here at all. Anybody can have as much success as they want to have. We don't fight over humans. That's really what we have, is the leverage that we've created is human capital. And human capital is very real. And I think the thing that's unique with us is that we do treat humans like they matter, right? So the idea that, Oscar, you talking about a 2-hour. Could you imagine?
Could feel like 2 years.
Feel like 2 years. A 2-hour meeting with, brand new members once they come in and sign up, and you spend 2 hours with them and really digging into their lives. And the reason for that is so that we can serve them. And we can't serve them if we don't know who they are and what their needs are, because we know that every human is completely different, right? Every one of us is uniquely made. So we can't serve appropriately if we don't know who they are. And so maybe before we kind of wrap this up, maybe if I could hear from either one of you or maybe both of you, you've experienced that one-on-one with Oscar, that initial meeting, and what would you want to share? Like, was there something, did you have an aha moment? Did you learn something, not about the person, obviously, that you were meeting with, but you know what I mean? Like, what was your experience that you would want to share? What did you experience when you got to sit in and kind of be a fly on the wall in that initial meeting? Is there something?
I think my aha moment was just really hearing Oscar taking in their full story. Like when you come to the club, you get the feeling, like you feel that you guys, you really care about the people here, the members here. Like when we first signed up, you can feel that. You can just see like you want people to succeed, and you have like this deep, like, just you're rooting for them and you want to help them as much as you can. And then sometimes like we don't know that person all all that deep, and then you're like, man, they're just like, I don't know about that person, but they're just keep pushing them and pushing. Like, why? Well, that person's not really doing anything. Like, why are they doing that? Like, but I don't get it because I don't know that whole person yet. So I can see now when I saw and I heard the whole story, and like for me, that got me, and I'm like, I want these people to like just succeed, and like I want to do everything that I could to help them. So I totally, like when I got back and I told Tina, I get it. I now I know how you can feel so much for somebody when you hear the whole story and what kind of a person they really are, because you don't always get that whole perception of somebody when you first meet them. You just get the top surface because, I know for me, I don't tell everybody, like, I'm really, really guarded. I'm working on that, but,
And you've come a long way, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but I get it. I was totally just that whole meeting, just switched something, just switched something in me, and I get it now. I totally, fully understand it now when I see that, I just understand it. So
That's great.
It was great. It was a great meeting.
That's so wonderful because that is so insightful and so true. A lot of times people don't understand why we continue to root for somebody, and you're right. They've quit, on themselves, and we haven't quit on them yet. And like, why do we do that? It is like dragging people across the finish line sometimes, and it is because we know what their true story is. And when you talk about people don't share that, it's people come in so masked. We're all walking around with masks on. And so, once you can get past the mask that somebody is wearing, then that's when you can really serve them. But they have to be willing to remove the mask. And it is a skill, would you agree, to be able to get somebody to remove their mask and feel safe doing it?
Yes.
It's not easy. So there's a lot of trust and a lot of confidence that is put into us. And I know Oscar, I believe, is really, really good at that. And so Oscar's goal is to train them to do the same thing.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we do really well is that we let them know first time they show up, right? When I do the introduction, I need to know you so I can coach you, guide you, and instruct you, right? I can't do any of that if I don't know you really well. And people look at you kind of weird.
They're not used to that.
Right. And then when they go through that process, you could see it in their face too, like, wow, these guys really do care, right? And it's so we say it from the beginning, and absolutely the intent of having these guys in those meetings and others in the meetings is for them to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
And it's not going to happen over one, right? I've been doing this for a number of years. Right. But with time, they're going to get better at it, and then they can start taking those meetings over. So which is growing them, right, to be able to do other things.
Yep.
So
that's what leadership development looks like, for sure. Would you add anything to that, Eric? Anything I'm sure you experienced the same thing. Was there anything else you'd want to add? Or?
Yeah, it just gives you that bigger picture feeling, and it gives you that, there's a bunch of people out there that end up somehow, some way getting to the club, and you're just like, the world is a big place, and it makes you feel small when you hear some of these, like you said, when you get to know somebody, you're like, holy crap, that's really cool.
Oh, yeah.
Holy crap, like maybe that's, just like stuff that happens to your normal day isn't as big deal anymore when you're like, you went through that or you're going through that. I want to be there to help. I want to be there to, like Manny said, to root you on and be there that you can lean on. Whether it's real estate or not, like we're all club members, we're all the family. So it's like, let's get through this.
Yeah.
I'm here if you need it, So whether it's, hey, I need to text you every time I'm door knocking, to, hey, I just have a random question, So I love it. I love being there for people. I love trying to help them through that, whatever they're going through, and help them get to the next level, and stay in and keep coming back. I want to be a reason that like people come back, they see us, they see Manny and Tina, and like, oh, they're cool. Let's go back to the club and see what's going on. So that's kind of where I get with that too.
It's so great. That makes my heart just go pitter patter. Makes me so happy. You know, when you have this vision, for me personally, a vision that this would happen. You know, and for Dave and I to sit back, from 10 years ago and have, this was our goal. This was our vision, was that we would create leaders. We would duplicate ourselves and duplicate ourselves in a way where people would actually care about other people and pay it forward and really serve them. And that's what you guys have been. So for me personally, I'm really honored and thankful, truly, for all 4 of you. Well, 5 of you, Oscar included, obviously. But I'm very, very thankful for who you've shown up to be for the club. And one of the things I think that I need to say, and it's probably the final thing that I want to say, is this. Not one person is bigger than the club. The club it exists, and its mission is tied to everybody. It takes everybody, and there's not one person that is more important than the entire club. No person. And you're just proving that to be true. And so thank you for that. So I think we're out.
I think so.
This is Team Liger, Melina Boswell, and Oscar Solares. We are Flippin Off. I'm Melina Boswell, your host of the Flippin Off Podcast. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, we'd love for you to subscribe, give us a 5-star rating, and tell your friends all about us. You can find more episodes of the Flippin Off Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, or wherever else you like to listen to awesome podcasts like this. If you like what you've heard, we'd really appreciate it if you'd follow us on Facebook and Instagram and tell us the stories that you'd like to hear. Tim Jackson is our senior producer. Luke Jackson is our editor. Brothers. Josh Maldine is our producer. Sound design by Frequency Factory. Our executive producer is Mind and Mill. This was all created by Dave Boswell for New Wealth Advisors Club.